welcome to D-ConneXion TV. I'm Donzaway Powell with D-ConneX LLC, and today we will be talking about the fitness industry. So I'm very excited to have some guests. I'm going to let them introduce yourself, starting with Gerald.
Yeah, my name is Jarrell Webb. I'm personal trainer, fitness influencer here in Nashville. Looking to go nationally. I go by the name of iTrain365 on everything. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm Ryan Freebing, owner and founder of Nashville Fit Magazine. It's a lifestyle, health, and fitness publication here in the Nashville area. It's spreading health and wellness throughout the greater Nashville space.
Good.
My name is Dwayne Hampton, owner of Fitness 1440 Mount Juliet, soon to be Fitness 1440 Gallatin. Also Team Diesel Training. You know, it's been my mission to make an impact on as many people as I can in the fitness industry and do what I can to do my part every day.
Good, good. So let's talk a little bit about that with you all. So tell me a little bit more about what it is that you do and how you feel like you make an impact in the area of health and fitness. Anyone?
Yeah, so I'll get it started. So personal training, of course, looking to also get into the online space where we'll be doing more videos and just trying to educate the masses on what it means to be healthy and live a healthy lifestyle through fitness and food and all that great stuff.
So I do think online is definitely popular,
Yeah.
and it can be helpful to some people that might be scared to come out of the house or be intimidated to go into a gym or something like that. So what are you looking to do online? Would that be just kind of the videos so that they can mock what you do, or it would be informational videos just to kind of explain things?
So see, all the above. So understanding that everybody doesn't want to work out with a personal trainer. Two, everyone can't afford a personal trainer. Three, everybody doesn't have time to get to the gym with a personal trainer. We all have lives, kids, wives, houses, dogs, all that stuff like that we have to take care of. So if I can come to you right where you are, if I can meet you in your own space for 20, 30 minutes a day, I feel like we can make a great impact. I like to eliminate excuses, and that's the biggest excuse that I hear is either I don't have enough time or you're too expensive. So.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah, so I'll talk a little bit about Nashville Fit Magazine. So as I mentioned, we're a lifestyle, health, and fitness publication that distributes content through about 250, 300 locations around town.
Really?
Mainly gyms, apartment complexes, yoga studios, health food stores, things like that. But our main goal is just getting people to move and be active. So whether or not you're doing yoga, CrossFit, boxing, hiking, biking, you know, the whole spectrum of fitness, we want you to get out there and move a little bit more, and those are the things that we spotlight within the publication. And it's a lifestyle, health, and fitness publication, so we spotlight the people in the community, kind of who they are and what they do, and kind of share their story a little bit more.
Really? Okay, so give me just a few examples of what types of things are in the magazine.
Yeah, so we've got a nutrition section, which is going to give you recipes, maybe some things to put in your smoothies. We've got a fitness section that's going to maybe dive into a little bit more of some exercises you might find in the gym, maybe some lifestyle apparel photo shoots and things like that. And then we also have a health and wellness section as well too that's going to give you a little bit of information on maybe the best dentist to go see, or maybe a chiropractor or some practitioners like that as well too.
Okay, thanks.
You know, I'm old school. I started with a one-on-one a long time ago before we knew what social media was. And people used to ask me, what are you doing? I said, I'm practicing. What are you practicing for? I'm practicing for a bigger audience. So as I've progressed as a trainer, I got up to where I, you know, have 200 or 300 clients at a time and really do a good job with competitors and translated that into working with individuals. Now my mission is to take a bigger platform with the gyms I'm opening and the model I'm trying to do with it and give something for people to work towards, not just as individuals, but as a group. Because one thing we know is when we do things together, we're more likely to stay, we're gonna stay longer, and we accomplish more. And so that's my mission over the next few years, is to figure out how I can make an impact on not 200 people, but 2,000 people at a time.
I think a lot of people are trying to practice that scaling is really important, and I think a lot of people want it.
Yeah.
I do agree as far as the excuses. A lot of people have the excuses to go right with wanting it.
Yeah.
But they do have the desire, and sometimes it just takes longer than it might take others to actually, for it to really kick in and be like, okay, yes, this is something that I'm really going to do and I'm really going to stick with. So was there any particular thing that kind of initially sparked your passion in fitness enough to think, this is how I'm going to make my living?
So for me, my dad was diagnosed with fatty liver disease probably 6, 7 years ago. And our family was always pretty active. We played soccer growing up. I remained active in college as well too, boxed a little bit. And so with my background, advertising and marketing, I kind of molded the two passions together and wanted to see, something become successful for people to say, okay, well that might not be an option for me, but this is an option for me, whether that be yoga or paddleboarding, like I mentioned, or boxing or CrossFit or whatever it may be. So I think my background in marketing and advertising kind of came together with a passion for health and fitness and wanting to see people get out there and move a little bit versus just being couch potatoes and sitting around hanging out on the weekends.
Yeah, good.
I tell you, I was working for a bank, and I went to school, and my family used to laugh at me all the time because I've got way too much education for what I do for a living, and I would sit on the porch with my wife, and I would say, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm not doing this. I'd go to the bank, everything's chaos, nobody's ever happy. And I said, I felt like I'm meant to do more in life. I'm meant to do more to help people. And so I actually started training people, not because I needed the money, but because I wanted to feel like I was doing something. I would go to work and train 2 or 3 people, and then go to the bank all day, come back, train 2 or 3 people, and work myself out. And then what I found was it was more rewarding to help those few people than anything. And I was kind of forced into a situation. I won't say forced, I made a decision, an economic decision. When the mortgage market melted down, I looked at the way the government was restructuring banks and our compensation. I said, you know what? I'm going to take a chance and see what I can do with this training thing. I'm pretty good at it, and I think I can make as much money doing that as I can working for the bank. And it's just one of those things, ever since I started doing it, I knew I was doing what I was supposed to be doing and just follow the path that it's taken me. And I've been blessed enough to work with a bunch of good people that have put me in a good position.
Yeah, so mine is actually a little different. I actually never wanted to be a trainer because, like you guys probably know, growing up, there weren't a lot of examples of trainers. When you looked at fitness, you had like Jane Fonda, Billy Blanks, those people like that, right? So in my mind, that's what trainers were. Like, I was like, I'm not that type of guy to get up and all day. Like, that wasn't me. So actually, as a former athlete, I had just got cut from the CFL. Came back here, and I was working in criminal justice, which is what my degree is actually in. And I still worked out every day just in case whatever happened, if I got a phone call. And one of my coworkers actually just asked me to take her to the gym and show her around. So I did that, and somehow that turned into personal training. She ended up losing 60 pounds. Really, all of this is her idea, because one day she was like, yo, this is what you're supposed to be doing, right? I was still stuck in the football mindset, like I'm going to be playing football. And then later on, I was like, yo, I really do have a passion for it. But I didn't know if I could make money doing it, right? Because I didn't know any examples, once again, of people who, like real life people who were personal training, and that was all they did, right? So I ended up, jumping out on faith and got a personal training job, and that grew into kind of what we do today.
Yeah. Well, I think it's very important. Over the years, kind of on my little health and fitness journey, I've had, multiple trainers, and I will say all of them have impacted me so much. Like, I feel like that relationship is almost as important as, your personal, I'm not gonna say your spouse or anything, but it's deep. It literally is. When I see them, that's what I'm saying. It's like, that's my people right there. And so I can see how, both sides. I can see how it can be a win, because sometimes you see those people grow and develop. I can remember when I would go in the gym, I didn't know what I was doing. I mean, I might be doing something, but I really had no clue what I was really doing. And so, and to be where I am now, where I can go in there and give myself a
good workout,
pretty good workout and do a good job. So I love seeing people develop. So I can see how that can be a plus. At the same time, I can also see where you might see so much potential in someone, and maybe they start letting it go, and then you're like, you're wanting it more than them sometimes. So I can see how that could be hard as well. Yeah,
I actually created a program called 60 Days No BS from that exact example. I have a client that, she is a physical specimen. Like, you see her now, you're like, oh, she's a beast, but not knowing the story behind it. It's like one day, middle of the session, I was just fed up that day, and I just let her have it right there. And I just told her, like, you give me 60 days, and we can't cuss on this. Like, 60 days, no BS, right? You give me 60 days, no BS, I'll change your body. 60 days, that's all I want. And so we agreed to that, and she saw what we did in that 60 days, and that's literally what what transformed her from where she was
Right.
and to where she is now. So sometimes, I believe in the cuss out method. Sometimes you got to have that come to Jesus heart-to-heart talk,
Yep,
right?
yep.
Just to show people exactly what they are and what they can do and the potential that they're hiding behind. Sometimes they're just scared to fully, let go and trust the process.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what you need in a great trainer, though. You need that trainer to understand the client, to know, is it the time to hold the hand or is it time
Yeah.
to put the smack
Absolutely.
down
Yeah.
on them? And then to get them to believe in themselves as much as
Yeah.
you believe in them. That's what makes you truly unique in this industry. And that's the part you can't fake about it.
Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Jarrell said trust. I mean, I think trust is something that people that come to a personal trainer
Absolutely.
have to have in order to fulfill this 60-day no BS
Yeah.
workout that Jarrell's going to put them through. And there's a lot of patience that comes with it as well too. I mean, you've got to have the foresight to say, okay, I need to lose 30, 40 pounds. How long is that going to take me to do it? It's not going to be tomorrow. It's
Yeah.
not going to be next week. It might not even be next month, of
Right.
course. The process needs to be put in place, and that's why, Jarrell and Dwayne at Fitness 1440 do so well with their businesses, is because they have those processes in place.
Yeah, so I guess give me your thoughts on, for someone that's just starting out, somebody that's literally sitting on the couch, has done nothing, what are some things that you might suggest for them, just again, like you said, just to get up, get moving, get some things going? Any suggestions that you would give to that person that they might not be eating right? It could be a whole slew of things that have happened in the past, but if they're now willing, what would you suggest for them?
I would say probably it's just that, show up, right? Show up and be consistent. Like, let's start there, because no matter what we give you, if you don't do it,
Yeah.
then it doesn't matter. As smart as Dwayne is, as long as he's been doing it, as good of a program as he is, if I don't do what he's telling me to do, it doesn't matter at the end of the day, right? So I would just say show up and be consistent. And then as you create consistency, you start to add in other things, right? So we kind of build on top of that foundation as we go.
The most important thing when you start is to set realistic expectations for yourself. If you take that person who's just coming off the couch, I say very similar to what he says, find something to make yourself sweat every day. But more important, figure out that one reason why you're doing it right now, because every day you're going to get up, you're going to have 100 excuses not to do it. You got to remember that one reason why you're doing it every day, and then build from it. Don't expect to lose 30 pounds in the first week. Let's start with, just like he says, show up and do your cardio for 5 days. Then plan a goal, 60 days out, plan a goal 90 days out. People always want to go from, I haven't done anything in 5 years, to all of a sudden I'm ready to get on stage or run a marathon. Well, let's slow up just a little bit. Let's be glad that your clothes are a little bit looser. Let's look for that 5-pound mark. Let's look for that 10-pound mark. And let's find something to do outside the gym to pair it to. That's the number one mistake that people make, is I've got to be in the gym to accomplish my fitness goals. If you don't find something like a 5K, like we were talking about earlier, to get to, a Tough Mudder, a fitness challenge, something to do to keep yourself motivated through, to make that reason for yourself be attainable, then you're setting yourself up for failure from the beginning.
Yeah, I think most people need to stop or start to remove comparison. I mean, one of the things that happens a lot because we live in a social media day and age is they're comparing
Oh, yeah.
themselves to thousands and thousands of people that are out there all the
Insta
time.
famous.
Yeah, so I think the mental game from the get-go has to be, not necessarily on point, but you have to say, look, I don't care what somebody thinks when I walk into the gym, if I'm overweight or I'm skinny or I want to put on weight, I shouldn't be comparing myself to somebody that's next to me in the gym. I should be there for myself, for my family, for my friends. Those are the things that I think people should start to think about a little bit more when they start to think about what I want to do or how I want to start moving again.
Right, and just get the ball rolling, I
Yeah.
guess, for the
Yeah.
most part.
Make
And
yourself
then-
sweat.
Yeah, so good. So let's talk about a little bit about the education piece, because I mentioned earlier, I can remember when I would go in and not really know what I was technically doing. So how important is it for people to understand proper form? Because sometimes you'll see people that hurt themselves, which is counterproductive as far as you actually being able to be healthy and be able to get moving and stay on a consistent basis. So what are your thoughts as far as if there is someone that has no idea what they're doing, maybe do they need to at least, even if they can't afford to have a personal trainer on a consistent basis, at least to get some of those basics down to make sure that they're not hurting themselves and that they're doing things the right way? Or what do you think about that?
Yeah, well, I think we have a lot of different platforms to where we can educate ourselves if we truly wanted to.
Yep.
But I mean, that's the basics. I mean, it's like, how important is it to know how to drive before I get in the car, right? It's the base. If you're not doing it right, what are we doing it for? Our first goal as trainers is to keep you safe, right? Is to keep you healthy, is injury prevention, and then we build on top of that. So it's really that, which is also a good reason of why you have to have a good trainer. I'm thinking about your process and how you can now program for yourself. That speaks not only to you, but to the people that you've worked with in the past, right?
Absolutely.
They've taught you how to do this. Even without me, you can go into the gym and get a sweat by yourself. So I think it's top of the food chain. That's number one thing.
Yeah, I think removing ego from the scenario is a good thing. I mean, I don't need to be lifting the same as a girl or a guy next to me.
Yeah.
So I could be using a 5-pound weight and still be generating as much movement as this other person is.
Yeah.
And I'm learning proper form as well, too, before I get to the big guns.
Yeah.
I think that it's not just the ego, it's fear. I think people are scared to ask. But anytime you're going to start into a fitness journey, you should educate yourself fully. What's realistic expectations for your nutrition? When I work with people, obviously, how well you do your form when I work with you is a reflection of how well I trained you to do that. And I think it's also having an environment, especially at our gym, where if you see somebody or I see somebody and my trainer sees somebody, we'll step over and correct them in a non-way to single them out or anything.
Yeah.
And be like, hey, just, let's get this right, because you want to make it where it's productive. You don't want them to get hurt, and you want them to have a good experience. And I think it's a very, very important thing, and one of the things that's missing, that we look out for each other.
Yeah.
Take 2 seconds and talk to them and be like, hey, man, let's turn around. You're backwards.
Well, I do like that you mentioned that, of course, everything doesn't have to be in the gym. And thankfully, we're in a good area where you can go hiking. There's trails everywhere. We are in a place to where you can actually really get out and be able to enjoy. It's a little chilly right now, but you can get out, enjoy for the most part, and be able to kind of venture out and have your own adventures and still get some activity going. So that's a good thing about being here in Nashville and the surrounding area. So Jarrell, what are some of the most common issues that you see people having with actually accomplishing goals? I know you mentioned the excuses, but what's the number one thing that you hear that people struggle with?
Oh man, number one.
How much time do we got?
Right.
I see a lot of your posts, so that's why I'm like, well.
Yeah. So I mean, I think the number one thing is, for me, is people don't believe in themselves for real. Like you said, people say they want something, but then when it's time to put the rubber to the road, they back down, right? So I have a saying that we don't train for the gym, we train for life, right? So we train for the stuff that happens outside of the gym, whether it's we want to be able to do a Tough Mudder, because that's putting what we've been taught into action. Whether that's, I had a client who she got into a really bad car accident and it ended up like shattering her foot. So she couldn't walk, and they had her in a hospital bed. She had to use a rope to get up. She texted me from the bed. She was like, yo, I'm killing this, but it's because we've been doing this type of stuff in the gym, and it reminds me of that, so it's no problem. She's like, before this, if this would have happened before we started training, I wouldn't be able to do this stuff. So I think the biggest excuse is to stop not believing yourself, right? Remember who the F you are.
Okay, so I will say I agree.
Yeah.
I think the mental part of it is huge, and I tell people, I'm like, get your mind right. And I say all the time, change your mind, change your life.
Yeah.
Because if you're able to kind of, and even for myself, if you all know, well, most of you know me very well, and you know that I do love food. So let's never act as if I don't. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
However,
most people in fitness love food.
Right.
I know, but it's almost like as I've gone through my journey, even when I have kind of setback moments, when I come back, I'm better, like every time. And then that's happened over and over again. And now I get to the point where I'm like, oh man, okay, I know that I can do it because I've done it before. I know that I can get to a certain level. So making sure that people kind of internally start to say, look, you know what?
Yeah, and
Cut
then,
the excuses.
and then understanding that I'll never, or a good trainer would never give you anything that you can't do.
Right.
In your mind, you might think I can't do this, right?
Right.
There's no way I can do this, right? But I like proving you wrong. That's one of my other models. Is every time you tell me you can't, I'll prove to you that you can, right? And that's just something that we want to do. That's part of the mental game that we play as trainers. You say I can't lift this, well, let's see. Right, and I'll talk a little bit to you why you do it. Oh, you couldn't do that, huh? It's funny how you're standing up right now with that bar on your back when you couldn't do it, right? So it's playing those games with us.
It's always the headspace.
Yeah.
It's always take the I can't out of it, just like he said, and then make it important. Because the biggest thing in the world that I'll tell people, if it's important for you to get to the movies, you make time. If it's important for you to meet somebody, you'll make time. If it's important for you to do whatever, you'll make time. So when you realize that this is the most important thing that you can do for yourself now and for your future and for your family, then you'll make time for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's on that priority list? Is it Netflix or is it?
Right.
That's right.
Is it cardio? Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
You do cardio while watching.
Why
Netflix.
watching
There we
Netflix?
go.
Yeah.
There we go.
There you
A
go.
lot of times I think sometimes people don't really realize the magnitude of the benefits. So of course they know, oh, I'll be healthier, but they don't understand. I can remember I would go to work and be so exhausted and tired just because I was eating completely horribly. I was hardly exercising, and I just had no energy. Versus now, where I jump out the bed super early in the morning, I'm ready to go, and it's just a total different. How much more can I get done in a day now versus what I could have done then, just because, okay, I put some effort into it. Also, one of my favorite, I guess, workout or fitness type motivational videos on YouTube is Eric Thomas, and How Bad Do You Want It, Part 2. To this day, I've watched that probably 100 times, and sometimes I'll just have it in my ears sometimes, because literally that's what it boils down to. At least I know for myself.
Yeah.
Sometimes I want it better than others. Sometimes I get a little more lax. I don't quit, but I just kind of, not as much. But if I want it and I say, that's what he mentioned earlier. So I registered for the Nashville Fit Games again for this year.
Yeah.
And he said I was the first one. You know why? Because I know I got a goal. And if I got the goal, that helps me. I already know.
something to
I
train
got
for,
to
yeah.
get on it in order to be prepared, because it's not a joke. So so I get it. I get it, all of it.
We're excited to have you.
Thank you. So Ryan, with your publication, how has your readership changed since you began? Remind us again, I guess, how long you've had the publication going, and then how have you changed outlets any? I know you mentioned some of the health and fitness, some of the gyms, places that you do that. So how has that evolved?
Yeah, so we started in 2015, and we started online, as a lot of companies do these days. It's a little bit more lucrative in terms of cost to do so. And basically back then it was kind of a glorified blog. So we would release articles on people in the community, who they are, what they do, push that out through our social media, email lists, and things like that. So we were skewing a little bit younger in 2015, 2016. Launched to the print scene in January of 2017. And so since then, we've seen our audience grow a little bit more in terms of age demographic. So back then, we were probably sitting at maybe 27, 28 years old was our median age. Now we're about 33, 34, actually. So it's great to see that audience skew a little bit older, just because we feel like that's the audience that needs help in the health and fitness space as well, too. As you grow older, you stop moving, I guess, better, but there's no reason why that shouldn't be the case.
Right.
In terms of who we're spotlighting these days, it's kind of always been the same. It's been who's in the community, lifting others higher, what kind of story are they telling. We try and keep it as diverse as we can in terms of like what people are doing, because that's who we want to spotlight and provide people with options as well too. So we've been very blessed to have such a great city that's had so many options for us as well too.
It is. Anything from hot yoga, I mean, you name it.
Goat
we
yoga,
pretty much
yeah.
got it. No, I haven't tried that. No.
Yeah, right.
It's
I
amazing.
heard some of the bloopers about that.
You get a free class though, if that happens.
It's actually amazing how much the Nashville fitness scene has changed in the last 10 years. 10 years ago, I moved to Charlotte so I could work in a Tier 1 fitness city.
Yeah.
And now that we're becoming a Tier 1 fitness city, it has really changed the complexion of the whole fitness industry for this area.
Yeah, I definitely think so.
Yeah, Good, good, good. So Dwayne, I know your gym obviously very well. Tell us who your common, I guess, demographic is that comes in, and how do you all assist in kind of welcoming them, sorry, I couldn't talk, with no matter where their starting point is, making sure that they kind of feel welcome and that they can come in that environment.
You know, that's one of the things that I try the hardest to make sure we accommodate. So whether it's working with a trainer, we got 13 trainers in-house, or getting them into a group class, or if they're familiar and just doing the consultation and showing them around, what I want people to feel when they walk through the door is like that's where they belong. Not just walking into certain facilities where they're going to be on their phone texting, but when you walk in, you see people actually enjoying themselves, smiling, and whether it's in a group class or working with a trainer, people are working and getting results. And that's what we try to instill, even when they're shy coming in, you know, from the time you approach them with a smile, say how your day is going, and then encourage them, hey, if you're shy, you need to try this class. And usually if I talk to somebody for 2 or 3 minutes, or my staff, you can figure out if they're going to be a fit for training. Yeah. If they're not, hey, let's get you into this body pump class on Monday and Wednesday mornings. Find something to get them involved with. What I try to make sure we don't have is people just wandering around not knowing where they're at.
Right.
And that's a big miss for a lot of the bigger box gyms, that they do that. When you take that, it pays dividends back to you, because then people tell people, and people tell more people.
Right,
and
yeah.
That's what you want.
You don't want them to walking around feeling lost, and then they finally are like, let me ease on out this door, and they don't come back
That's
because
exactly
they're
right.
like, I didn't even feel like I should be there. So, good. So I do want to open up the floor to give you all the opportunity. If there's any things that you have coming up, or that you have going on, or just anything that you just want to share with the general public so that they have a better grasp of what you do and what you have coming.
We got 2 things coming. One, we're looking at the 1st of March. I wish it was the 1st of March. It's supposed to have been the 1st of March. 1st to middle of April, we're opening Fitness 1440 Gallatin. Super excited about that, because it's really a big need for it up there. There's only a couple of very small boxes up there. So we're excited to get into that community. Going along with that, one of the things that I've sat back and tried to figure out what we're going to do different this year to have a bigger impact. We're about to launch, and this is a little bit early, but it's a few weeks early, what I can call the 20 and 20 challenge. So playing on the 20 and 20, it's going to challenge everybody to lose 20 pounds. But my bigger goal with it is each community that we're in, Georgia, Mount Juliet, I'm hoping Nashville gets involved with it, in Gallatin, we want to lose 20,000 pounds in each one of the communities. So the software that we've invested in is going to allow us to measure that. It's also something where instead of somebody doing a 6-week challenge or a 3-month challenge, what I want to see is how much of your lifestyle you can change. This is not a weight loss challenge. This is a lifestyle challenge. Yeah. And then what we can do when we take 20,000 pounds off of each community, how much the quality of life of that community improves, from the cost of insurance to how much activity you see to the confidence in the people participating in it. So we'll be rolling that out full steam in the next few weeks, and we want everybody to participate, whether they're a member or not.
Okay,
Nice.
great.
Yeah, sounds awesome.
Quickly.
Yeah, so I'm launching the G5 online workout series. Will be 5 workouts. We'll work out every single day, 2 rest days. It'll be completely online. I'm coming right into your living room. Me, you, and some sweat, baby. That's what's gonna happen, right? Nice. So look for that. It'll be dropping around May.
And remind me, where did they find you?
So you can find me at itrain365fit.com or itrain365 on all social media platforms.
Got it.
Yeah, so National Fit Magazine's got our biggest event of the year coming up in July. It's the City Fit Expo, and this year we're kind of combining that with the National Fit Games. So last year we had about 2,000 people join us for the expo, about 125 vendors. The Fit Games was originally hosted in May, but we're going to move it to July, get everybody in some shade, and enjoy a great time. It's 10 fitness tests, all meat potato type stuff, but it's for all age groups.
Okay, so all age group for the expo, is the games all age groups?
Yeah, so
Sure.
if you want to enter into the Fit Games, it's 18 to 29, 30 to 39, 40 to 49, all the way up to 70 plus as a male and female athlete. Or you can enter as a team as well too and kick butt with some teammates.
Perfect. Well, thank you again, guys, for coming today. I really appreciate it. And thank you again for tuning in to D-ConneXion TV. Y'all have a great day.